This channel is supported by TrueFire. TrueFire is an online library of lessons from some of my favourite players. There's thousands of lessons on there. You can use the promo code JNC40 to get 40% off of any of their courses. Today my own mum accused me of dyeing my hair, so that's what's going on for me. I hope if there are any of you watching that have family, loved ones, friends in the LA area, that you're safe. And I don't really have anything particularly useful to say, but just thought it was important to try and be aware of what's actually happening in the real world. Anyway, on with the video where we're going to just be talking about some ideas around guitar. And today I kind of wanted to ask the question, or answer the question, as I've been thinking about this a bit, spurred on by David Gilmour saying, you know, sometimes he didn't really know what makes a guitar great. I think I found a couple of things that I wanted to discuss with you today, just on the basis of some guitars that I've experienced. I've experienced a lot of guitars, you know, some that stick in the memory, some that don't, some that I bought used, some that I borrowed off of friends, and there are a few key pieces that stick in my mind, and I just wanted to talk about the aspects of these guitars that I think show me that those are great guitars, at least for me. No doubt you'll have seen me spaffing around over this Nacho Caster that borrowed off of Jake. In any case, I think this has kind of shown me what it means when you find a guitar that is great. So basically this improvisation that you just heard me doing just came out of, you know, I recorded basically 3 pieces of music kind of on the trot. And I think that's one of the things that you find when a guitar really speaks to you, is that it hopefully inspires something else. And that might be a little bit of the honeymoon thing going on, but sometimes you'll find that a guitar just really does, in that moment, just want to make music with you in some ways, like some sort of coupling that seems to just work. I've definitely got that myself with the blue K Line over there. Just one thing to try with all guitars is a thing that I've kind of, you know, heard from Julian Lage about how he practices, just playing DI or even unplugged and seeing if any music comes out of the thing for you there. But just plugged in DI is how you're going to be hearing the guitars for this portion of the video. And I think it's worth mentioning that I think sometimes if the thing is great, there can be like this juxtaposition of something unremarkable that brings some kind of remarkable result. So I can remember the first time that I played this guitar at home, I basically had like 4 hours sleep and I plugged it in and I kind of did some improvising and just playing around, shifting a D'Addario capo around and just noticing, okay, well this sounds really, really good just plugged in. So that's one of the things that I've noticed. Speaking of like that idea of like mixing remarkable and unremarkable things, sometimes something quite special can happen. Like, so this is just a parts caster that I made myself, but I think because it's my own choices and my own guitar and some of those things, it's actually been a telly that, and probably the guitar that I've got in the house that I've kept the longest. Obviously it's got very little value in any case, but just something that seems to work quite well for me. That's kind of what I mean about that unremarkable thing. Like, this is a guitar that I'm not sure is great at all. Like, it's just quite a good thing for me personally. I wouldn't put this across to someone else, whereas most of these other guitars, I would firmly say I think those are great guitars. This one I don't. I just quite like it. So as I say, not a remarkable guitar, just parts that I put together, not much of a finish on there. It's coming up to now being, wait, what has it got on the back? 15, so nearly 10 years old now. I've done quite a lot of playing on this thing. I think this guitar for me helps to show the distinction between like a guitar that I have like some really subjective strong feelings about, that I don't honestly think is a great guitar, but I have attachments to it that I think are good, and I think it stands up really well, considering it's a thing I put together out of pretty cheap parts. You know, it's not like the perfect spec telly either. It's got quite a skinny neck, whereas I normally like medium to thick necks. It's got K Line pickups in it, which are doing quite a bit of heavy lifting, I suggest. And it's not heavy, which is, again, a really great thing for a telly. But it just shows that point for me that it's like, well, just because you like a guitar doesn't actually make it great. One guitar that I think this is just really does hammer it home for me is DavidBeebee's Fibenare, his blue Fibenare. We sat in a hotel room and I was just playing it. And this is something that can happen with a guitar that really inspires you, where it's just, I started doing something that I don't think I'd ever really done before, just trying new techniques and stuff. And a guitar like that, you know, luthier made in Europe, you know, by people that really know what they're doing, a one-off guitar at the time, really speaks to me. Each time that I played that guitar, I played it for, you know, basically as long as I could and not wanted to put it down. Similarly, Jake's Murphy Lab. But it's something about, you know, some of these guitars where it's like, I can see that this is a great guitar. I don't need to own it, like the Murphy Lab, for instance. This is, you know, my number one guitar that you've heard me talk about all the time. And I think, again, part of what helps to make a guitar great is your connection to it and how much you bond with it and how much you kind of commit to that guitar. And so this has been the guitar, you know, like the first time I came back from the hospital after my daughter was born, Elodie, you know, this was the guitar that I wanted to pick up, and it's been the guitar that I want to pick up pretty much all the time. You know, like if I was asked to demo a pedal, or, you know, can you check out this amp, like this is the thing that I would go towards. And I think that's a really cool thing as well. And that's, I guess, if you can commit to one guitar, then that can help it to become a great guitar for you as well, in a way that just jumping between loads of expensive boutique guitars doesn't necessarily do the same thing as, you know, holding on to one boutique expensive guitar, for example. But, you know, I've had a lot of K Lines. I've got a lot of K Lines, but this is the one that speaks to me the most, if that makes sense. So I don't know, let me know your thoughts about how you know a guitar is great in the comments if you've got any thoughts on that. And again, do you get like this sort of sense of nervousness? Where someone else is playing your guitar and you feel like that you're going to get found out that it's actually a piece of junk. I quite like, at the moment, the weather's changing, and so the action is creeping up again a bit on this, and I kind of like a Strat with a slightly higher action. This was low for a while. I didn't want to get in there and take off the neck. Also, for me, there's certain things that I look for in a guitar that maybe doesn't matter, and other people have different opinions on this, like obviously setup and all that, pickup choices, all the things that can change, but something like a guitar being heavy for me is like a bit of a turn off, whereas I know other people aren't really bothered about the weight of a guitar at all. So yeah, let other folks, if you've got any opinions on any of this sort of stuff, know in the comments. Do you feel confident when you know that you've got a great guitar in your hands? Have you ever found a great guitar like in a guitar shop and you thought that is great and missed out on it? Or had a guitar in a guitar shop and thought that is great, brought it home and then thought actually maybe it's not so great? I'd love to know your thoughts. You've fallen out of love with all guitars and that kind of stuff. To me, this kind of thing is interesting, and hopefully this helped you pass the time while you were on the toilet. Cheers for stopping by.